Very happy with the improved services we're providing.
Question at number 10, Holly Walker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is to the Minister of Justice. Did she receive a response from the National Party following her request for party views on the Electoral Commission's recommendations for changes to MMP? And if so, what was that response?
Honourable Judith Collins.
Mr. Speaker, yes, I have publicly released a summary of all party responses this morning, and as the member will now know, the National Party did not agree with key changes suggested by the Electoral Commission.
Supplementary question, Holly Walker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Given the Minister's own stated preference to adopt the recommendations as a package, and the fact that the Green Party had committed to vote for legislation doing that, isn't the only reason she couldn't get 61 votes because her own party blocked it?
Honourable
Mr. Speaker, look, it's wonderful that the member thinks that she can read my mind, but I don't think I've ever stated. I have said if there should be change, then generally it's better to have all changes together, unlike under the Royal Commission response in 1986 from the then Labour government, when actually they did nothing for many years on it, and it was a national government that had to bring it through.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Holly Walker.
Isn't the real reason she won't introduce legislation because the national government needs the hugely unpopular one-seat threshold in place to keep John Banks and Peter Dunn on side?
Honourable Judith Collins.
Well, Mr. Speaker, I think the member doesn't realise that the member that she's just referred to actually is an electorate MP. I know that that's not something that's known of in the Green Party, but actually it carries quite a sway in the electorate.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Holly Walker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In her view, is writing one letter to political parties 5 months after the MMP review report came out a genuine attempt to get cross-party agreement, or was that just window dressing given her government never intended to do anything?
Honourable
Mr.
Judith
Speaker,
Collins.
to the first part of the question, yes.
Supplementary question, Honourable Leanne Dalzell.
What did she mean when she said in her letter to David Shearer, I hope to progress a collaborative process for considering and responding to the Commission's recommendations, when in fact she meant, unless everyone agrees with the National Party, we won't respond to anything?
Well, Mr. Speaker,
Judith Collins.
Mr. Speaker, that's a highly political question, really. The member is trying to... And I think it deserves a response, because quite frankly what it doesn't mean is that we'll only put forward 2 proposals, which is what that member's decided to do, which just happened to suit them. And no, it actually meant that if parties could come back with some form of consensus, and I'd be happy to progress it. There isn't. It's not going anywhere.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Point of order, Honourable Leanne Dalzell.
Mr. Speaker, I seek leave that the Electoral Adjustment of Thresholds Amendment Bill in my name be introduced and set down for first reading next sitting day.
Leave is so sought. Is there any objection? There is.
Supplementary. Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Holly Walker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Does she stand by her statement on national radio this morning that she would prefer to see all the changes implemented together? And if so, given that the Green and Labour parties have now both publicly committed to support such legislation, will she now introduce it to the House to implement the changes in time for the next election?
Well,
Honourable Judith Collins.
Mr. Speaker, again, the member's taken a little bit of what I've said and not the rest of it. If I was supporting change, then obviously I'd want to see it's always best to have all of the changes put forward together, but surely that member can count. Labour and the Greens isn't 61.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Point of order, Holly Walker. Order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I seek leave to table a letter dated 25th of March 2013 from the Minister to the Green Party co-leaders seeking feedback on the MMP review's recommendations.
Leave is sought to table that letter. Is there any objection? There is none.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Point of order, Holly Walker.
I seek leave to table the Green Party's response to that letter, stating that the Green Party would vote for legislation to implement the changes as a package.
Leave is sought to table the response. Is there any objection? There is none. It can be tabled. Question number 11, Dr Camcorder.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. To the Associate Minister of Health, what announcements has